So in the last class, we had started with the chapter Pharmacy Act 1948. Little bit I will revise it and then we will go with the next slides. So I had explained you why the Pharmacy Act was formed. The Pharmacy Act was basically formed to get the strict rules on the pharmacy or on the drugs. So if there is a poor quality of service, or there is no restriction on the pharmacy practice, or there is an absence of recognized curriculum, if there is no curriculum, no rules, no service, proper service, then the drugs and the profession may go out of hand or may go out of limits. That is why, to bring the regulations, this act was formed. When this act was formed, soon after this, in 1949, Pharmacy Council of India was formed. This council was made specially to make the regulations on the profession. And then I had told you about the committees and when the Pharmacy Act, Act on what date it came into force. The objectives are again the same: to bring the strict regulations on the profession, to reduce poor quality of service and unnecessary entry of people into the profession. And also we need registration and professional activities to be regulated. Hence this act came into picture. And we studied different definitions like Central Council, Central Register, Registered Pharmacist, UGC, and Indian University, repatriate, displaced person, medical practitioner. Yeah, all these definitions we studied because these all people or these definitions are related to Pharmacy Act, or they are related to Pharmacy Council of India. Because whenever we want to register as a pharmacist into State Pharmacy Council or PCI, there are rules that from which country we belong to or from which state we belong to, whether a foreigner can do pharmacy in our country, or whether our registration is valid in other countries. So for all these reasons, we had to study these definitions because they are related to this again. And I started with Pharmacy Council of India, and when it was formed, it is 1949 only. And every 5 years, this council gets dissolved, and they will reconstitute it again for every 5 years. And after this, I had just introduced these 3 members in this PCI. Sorry, elected member, nominated member, and ex officio member. So you have to remember who are these elected members, nominated, and ex officio member. Now we will see one by one who are they and how they are elected or nominated, how many members will be there, and what is their profession. So elected members, 6 members are elected from UGC, from teaching profession. UGC, I have already told you, that is University Grant Commission. So from there, or they will elect 6 members to be elected members in PCI. And from MCI, that is Medical Council of India, from there 1 person will be elected to become a member in PCI. And 1 member from State Pharmacy Council. From each state, 1 member will be elected. So in first one, out of 6 members, 4 members should be from the teaching profession, like 1 teacher from pharmacy, 1 teacher from pharmacology, 1 teacher from pharmacognosy, and 1 from chemistry. So this is the rule here. So out of 6, 4 should be from teaching profession. And 1 member is from Medical Council of India. That is because, again, medicine or medical and pharmacy are related, so they put 1 member from MCI also. State Pharmacy Council, because every state issue or each state will have different issues to be addressed, Hence, from each state, one pharmacist will be elected and put it in this elected member list. Next comes nominated. The first one, we call it elected because they are elected from certain bodies or certain governing bodies like UGC, MCI, and State Pharmacy Council. Here, nominated means they are nominated from central government, state government, UGC, or AICTE. From these governing bodies, they are nominated. So from central government, 6 members are nominated. From UGC and AICTE, 1 representative each. And from state pharmacy, 1 registered pharmacist will be there from each state again. So these are nominated members. Now, what is this ex officio member? This ex gives meaning in many ways, but here ex officio means, say for example, a member is already elected in elected member, or he is there in MCI or UGC. So the same member can be a ex officio member. Then uh, uh, ex officio member list, then that person is called as ex official. He might be an official person in MCI, UGC, or elected member, or in PCI board also. So if that same person is in this list, then he is called as ex official. So who are they? The Director General of Health Service, the Director of Central Drug Laboratory, the Drug Controller of India. So these are the people who are ex officio member, and they also belong to PCI. Next comes Joint State Pharmacy Council. So the name itself says what is joint state. So 2 or more state, they come into agreement to become or to run as a joint state pharmacy council. Here also the same classification: elected member, nominated member, and ex officio member. But the people who are present here are different. Here, register pharmacist, 3 to 5 from each state instead of 6 in a single state council. Medical council, 1 from each state. Medical council, 1 from each state. And nominated government nominees, 2 to 4 from each state instead of 5. Here also it is again mandatory that they have to be registered pharmacist. And again, next, ex officio, as I told, if these are officials in any other boards or any other councils, then they can also be a member of ex officio list. Chief Administrative Medical Officer in charge of Drug Control Administration, and Government Analyst. In short, they are called GA also, Government Analyst. So you may ask me whether you have to remember all these numbers, list, classification. Yes, definitely you have to remember, you by heart or you understand, you write and practice, but this is required to be remembered, and it is very important. Next comes functions of PCI. Now, what are the functions of Pharmacy Council of India? Here there are very few. If you see in detail, there are many functions, but for syllabus purpose or for your academic purpose, if we study these functions would be sufficient. To frame an educational structure for the would-be pharmacist, and to keep it tuned to the changing needs with passage of time. Now you might have seen in semester from KLE syllabus we are changing to PCA syllabus. Now PCA syllabus becomes common throughout India, which is same. PCI makes a syllabus and all the colleges should follow it. So before, each university had different syllabus, RGHS had different syllabus, deemed has different syllabus. So we used to follow accordingly. But now PCI had made a common syllabus which we have to follow. So why they made it? It was a requirement that each student, what they study, it should be common. And all the students should get equal educational opportunities also. So that is why PCI makes such decisions on educational structure. Next, education regulations. Regulations like when to conduct exam, how many theory papers should be there, how many practicals, if practicals for how many hours, theory exam, what are the requirements, how many marks should be allotted, who are the teachers, and what is their profession, is there any exam for the teachers to be conducted to pass it and then join as a teacher or lecturer, so on. So these are the education regulations. Next, recognize the qualification granted outside the territory to which Pharmacy Act extends. Like in any other country or state, if any qualification is being granted, for example, PharmD came into existence as a different profession only, because we wanted to make or we wanted to uh, reduce the distance between hospital and a pharmacist, or to bring more contact towards prescription, where there should be an in detail study of it, and also a person should clinically be aware what the patient is going through and which medicines are given. As a pharmacist, till date, we had vast information or education or knowledge about drugs, while as clinically we were less aware. But now, as PharmD has come, they are more aware for clinical aspects, so that they can always excuse me. So family students can be more closer to the prescription and also to the doctor, to see through the prescription and also the clinical studies. Next, maintain the central register for pharmacist. As we know, when we register in State Pharmacy Council, and there is also a central register where the pharmacists are registered or they are recorded as a pharmacist. Because if anyone get entry illegally into this profession, it may lead to many unwanted effects, because you know the drugs nowadays, how they can be used, and even they can create several wars, which we call medicinal war or drug war. So hence, to bring strict regulation on that, registering or recording the names of the pharmacist and their numbers, like register number, is very important. Other function for the furtherance of the act. Other functions, why? Because there are several functions for PCI. If we have to study in deep, it may take several classes. That is why I kept in short the main functions of the PCI. Approval, withdrawal of institution. As you already know, even PCI comes for inspection to colleges. They have authority to inspect college. Every year they come to inspect the college. Now for approval, procedure to be followed for approval for an institution providing course of study in pharmacy. They see the basic things like what is the course, whether it is conducting properly, labs are running, how many students are there, what is the fees, what is the salary, how many teachers are there, what is the ratio between the teachers and the students, how is teaching and learning conduct. All there's so several what to say, checklist they have, where they check or audit the college, or we can also call it as inspection. So first we apply by institution to PCI. We only apply, we request or we apply to PCI to come and inspect us. Then they will give the approval and then declaration. Sometimes even withdrawal happens. When is that? Non-compliance with education regulation. If you are not competent enough, if you are not fulfilling the requirements of PCI, if you are poor in conducting the regulations made by PCI, then there is a possible of withdrawal. Notice, then what happens? Notice issued to the institution by PCI. They issue the notice to institution which is getting withdrawn. 3-month window for the institution to make it representation. They will give a window, or they will give a lag time to put institution again on the track, uh, and prove themselves. Then final decision is always taken by PCI. Next, approval of qualification granted outside India. So we know that some of the degrees are not recognized in foreign countries, but some of the degrees are recognized by foreign countries. If you ask how about pharmacy, we are recognized by foreign countries. Still our certificates are valid in foreign countries. And even for them also, if they want to study in India, then they can always do that. So what it says, qualification pharmacy granted outside India can be recognized by PCI, correct? This is applicable to Indian citizens also. Citizens of foreign nationality can be eligible for registration when an Indian national holding the same qualification is allowed to enter and practice in that country. So it is vice versa. If we can do, they can also do. If our certificates are uh, considered, even in India, their uh, certificates are considered. Maintenance of central register. Just now I told, when we register in State Pharmacy Council, but there is a central register also under the provision of Pharmacy Act, and it is an amendment. You might already be knowing what are amendments. Nowadays, so many amendments are being passed by Modi for India. So here also, in any council, any rule has to be changed, or any new thing has to be put. We call them as amendment. So 1976, the PCI is required to maintain central register. I told you PCI was formed in 1949. After that, in 1976, the amendment came that the central should also have a register. The register has to maintained by registrar of council, has to be revised suitably from time to time, published in the Gazette of India. Uh, it, any rules or any new thing, it should be published, and they should record the list of pharmacists. And register also consists of several things like, um, if there is a renewal of certificates, or if there is an addition, or if there is a death of person and still the name is lying in the register, it should be removed because the person is no more and his certificates should be no more. It should not be misused by any other person. So several things like that, time to time it should be revised. Next comes State Pharmacy Council. Constitution of State Pharmacy Council in each state, again it consists of elected members, nominated members, and ex officio. We discussed elected in PCI, elected, nominated, and ex officio in PCI. Joint state also elected member, nominated, and ex officio. State Pharmacy Council also same. So 6 members elected amongst themselves by registered pharmacist of the state. See, they already have 6 members as elected members. Among themselves only, they will elect to be a member. One member elected from, again, MCI, Medical Council of India. Nominated, 5 members nominated by state government. As it is concerned only to state, it is again nominated only by state government. While as in PCI, nomination was by state government, central government, UGC and AICTE. But here, only by state government. Ex officio, Chief Administrative Medical Officer, officer in charge of Drug Control Administration of state, and government analyst. Government analyst is same in Joint State Pharmacy Council also. Yeah. The president and vice president are elected by the member from amongst themselves. Period of 5 years. As I told you, every 5 years this will get dissolved. So again they reconstitute it. Casual vacancy is filled by nomination or election. If there is any vacancy, they fill it by nomination or by election. Members are eligible for re-election also. If you want to again participate in the election, you can always go for. Possesses an executive committee similar to central government. Now, what are the functions of SPC, that is State Pharmacy Council? We studied the function of PCI. Now, what are the functions of State Pharmacy Council? Inspection by State Council. The State Pharmacy Council appoints suitable number of inspectors like DI, drug inspectors. Inspect premises where drugs are compounded or dispensed. There are times where vacancy is created and they call for DI. So what are the functions of DI? You might have studied already as a drug inspector. What are the functions? The same is written here. Inquire regarding the registration of the person, investigate complaints, institute prosecutions. So all these are the functions of State Pharmacy Council. Next is maintenance of registers. As I told, in Bangalore only State Pharmacy Council is there, where we go and register our registration as a pharmacist. So first is there, it is very important to maintain the register for the list of pharmacists in the state. And the State Council before and end of June each year are required to pay to PCI a sum equivalent to 1/4 of the fees raised by them during the period of 12 months ending March 31st in that year. Every year we need to renew our certificates. Register of pharmacist particulars. So as I told you, new pharmacists are added, or some should be deleted, or any actions are there, withhold anything. So withheld anything should be maintained in the register. Entry and removal of names. Just now I said new entries or any removals are there, or new certificates are to be issued. If the person name is removed, why it is removed, you should write the reasons also. So these are the entry and removal of the names. If sometimes pharmacist, if they conduct illegally, or if they have made any offense, then also their names can be removed. Or sometimes by error their name is entered in the register, then also it should be checked every year and keep it updated. If person is employed by him is convicted of an offense or is guilty of infamous conduct, then there is a removal. 30-day period for appealing. Surrender of the certificate registered and published in the official gazette. See, I don't know how many of us take our profession as a serious profession, because we conduct we are concerned with lives of people. We deal with different types of drugs. Less drugs or more dosage of drugs may be fatal. We all know that. So ultimately it is about people lives. So it is the most serious profession actually. So that is why the rules are strict. If anything goes wrong, if any conduct or any conviction the pharmacist does, then straight away his name is removed from the register. Printing of registers. Printing of registers carried out on the first day of April following the beginning of the pharmacy. This act was also as an amendment passed in 1959. It should be done first day of April. April 1st, it should be printed. Thereafter, each year after the 1st of April, the registrar will arrange for the reprinting showing supplements of the registered, because the books will get filled again. You have to keep the supplements, number of books will increase, so hence every time it should be reprinted. These registers and supplements are deemed to be proof that persons whose name are contained therein are registered pharmacists. Why they have to reprint? Because in a year many changes will take place in that register. Hence, every year, deletion, addition, taking all that, reprint and keep a fresh one showing that these are the number of registered pharmacists. So these are the functions of State Pharmacy Council. So in today's class, we revised last class and we started with elected members for PCI, nominated members and ex officio members for PCI. And I explained you how many members should be there and who are going to elect them in the first one, elected members. In nominated, who are going to nominate them, and who is ex officio, I explained you why they are called as ex official, I told you, and who are the people, from where they come. So this was the discussion in elected, nominated and ex officio. Next, I told you about Joint State Pharmacy Council, functions of PCI, approval and withdrawal, what is a qualification outside the India, maintenance of central register, State Pharmacy Council and its classification. Just a second. Okay, there is a disturbance near my home. Next, we studied State Pharmacy Council, Joint State Pharmacy Council. I had put this slide to show you the difference between joint and state. Next, functions. There were 4 functions: inspection, maintenance of register, entry and removal of the names, lastly, printing of registers. So these were the functions of State Pharmacy Council. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, shall I ask some questions then? Shall I ask some questions then? Yes?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. When was PCI formed?
1949.
Okay. When was Pharmacy Act formed?
1948.
Yes.
1948.
Yes. Okay. What are the functions of PCI?
Ma'am, educating people about the regulations, rules
Education.
related to ma'am, proper licensing of the registered pharmacist.
Okay. Okay. So the central register should be maintained. When was this amendment? When this amendment was passed that PCI should maintain central register?
1959.
No.
1956.
No. 1976. Okay. So 19.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. And yeah, what are the functions of State Pharmacy Council?
Ma'am, provide registration of the pharmacist of the particular state.
Mm-hmm.
And ma'am, regulating the institutions of the state, providing education for the courses.
Okay, correct.
Inspection
Very good.
of the institutions.
Institute. Okay. Someone said 1959, it was printing of register, and that is also one of the function. कहाँ गया? Functions. Okay, as you said, first is inspection, next maintenance of register, correct? Entry and removal, don't forget, this is the job of even PCI also and State Pharmacy Council, whichever it is. So they entry and removal updation they have to do, whichever the new entries are there and which are the removals. Every year they have to do, and every year they have to print it. So that is why that amendment came, and it came in 1959. Two amendments to remember: one is printing of register in 1959, and one is to keep the central register, that came in 1976.
6.
Yes. Okay, so this was it. In tomorrow's class we'll continue, and I think I'll finish this chapter by tomorrow. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then thank you. Jatin,
Yes,
Krishna,
ma'am.
yeah, what is the strength of the class? 26, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, thank you.